This conference will now be recorded.
There we
So,
go.
so
Okay,
official.
I know. So today we can connect with loved ones, we can do psychic, we can do a little bit of both, kind of whatever it is that you're feeling like you need to do.
A little bit of both, but I do have a really big question is, sorry, I'm trying to put my phone on the charger. I'm at my mom and dad's house.
You're fine.
Oh my God, I can't even find it. With my relationship,
Okay.
I I don't really know what's going on. We've been together for 13 years. He doesn't really want to get married. I kind of just was like, you know what? I don't want to be here anymore. So I left last night.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and really, everything else in the relationship is great. It's just that he doesn't want that last step. And I really, really want that.
Yeah.
He says it's
Okay.
just a piece of paper, but I'm like, it's not. I want to feel secure.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Okay, so we can definitely, if you want, we can start there and then see what comes up, and then once we kind of go through that, we can jump into connecting with loved ones, if that
Okay.
works. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just welcome in your energy, see what comes through. I do have my cards, so we'll use those too. But if you have questions along the way, just chime in at any point. Okay. Hmm. Okay, so as soon as I ask about your relationship, um, I do get the first thing I notice is I do feel that deep love. I do feel it's interesting because you said you want that security, but as I connect to the relationship, that's one of the feelings that I feel is like a sense of security. So I don't know if that's just because you've been together for so long, but I just, it feels loving, it feels secure, it does feel like a healthy relationship. Um, okay. Okay. Would you understand a connection with either one of you or with the relationship itself? I keep getting the number 8, so either the number 8 or the month of August. Does that make any sense?
We have a son whose birthday's in August.
Oh, okay, that could be it.
Oh, it was 8 years ago. I was ready to leave him, and he was like, "I want to marry you," and I was like, "Okay, well then I'll stay."
Oh, interesting. Okay, okay. So the spirit could definitely be validating both of those things. Um, okay. Okay. So as I ask about marriage in particular, your guides make me feel like marriage will happen. And how this is a hard thing to word because it feels like marriage will happen, but it doesn't necessarily feel as though he's going to share in that excitement with you. And it's not because he doesn't want to be with you. It's none of that. It just feels like marriage just doesn't feel important to him, and your guides are kind of validating that. But they're very clear that that is not a reflection of your relationship with him. But they do make me feel like marriage will happen. It just doesn't feel like he's going to share that excitement, and that might cause an issue. um, I feel like this is going to be something that is still talked about, is still something that we try to sort out between the two of you. I feel like it might go on for another year and a half, 2 years before you guys make a decision one way or another. Okay. Okay. Do you have 2 children together?
Hmm.
Have you been pregnant 3 times?
Hmm.
Okay. Because your guides kept showing me that there were 3, but they're making me feel like there were 2 here. Okay. So just validating all 3 of those babies. I do feel like there may be another one in the future if that's something you guys decide that you're interested in doing. Um, yeah, so some children are destined to be with us. And then some children are what I like to call free spirits. They're kind of okay either way. They pick us, but they're like, if you want to have me, fine. If you don't, I'm okay. Where others are like, no, I'm coming in whether you're ready or not. And this other one feels like it's kind of that free spirit of, if you want me, great. If you don't want another child, that's okay too. But I wouldn't be surprised if you have another one if it ends up being a little girl.
Oh boy.
Do you have any girls yet?
I have a girl. She's the wild, rambunctious one, and my son's like the sweet, sensitive,
Yeah.
less rambunctious.
Funny. Okay. Yeah, with the relationship right now, I really feel like I want to, the way that this is coming is it feels like stand your ground. If this is something that is important to you, if this is something that you want, make that known. Because if you don't, it feels like down the road, this will be something that you regret. Now, whether marriage happens or not, the relationship does feel secure. It does feel like there's really nothing to worry about. It does feel healthy, but this is one of those big issues where it can cause other issues to arise if you're on very different pages. So the way that this is coming in is really honor yourself. If this is something that's important to you, stick to that, but be open to that flow of communication. Try to see things from his perspective, and hopefully he'll try to see things from yours as well. It's kind of that compromise. But I do feel like I don't think you guys are done. I don't think you're gonna end up walking away or he's gonna walk away. They're making me feel like this is a relationship that's going to stay. But the cards that came out are pretty interesting, because the first card, I don't know how well you can see it on here, but it's the Royal You card. This is that card that's stand your ground, honor yourself, honor what's important to you. But then these two cards right here. So this one is Beautiful Uncaging. This is all about matters of the heart. This is completely about matters of the heart, 100%. And then you have Exposed and Revealed. So through this hardship, through these difficult conversations, it feels as though you two will really be able to have that open discussion and begin to understand why, the actual reasons why he's opposed to it, and he'll be able to understand the actual reasons why it's so important to you. Because it feels like you've had this conversation, but there are still things that each of you are not understanding about the other person's reasoning, if that makes sense. So I think this is a conversation that's going to continue to be had. It's just going to take patience. But if you choose to move forward with the relationship, which it feels like you will, but again, we have free will, so whatever you feel drawn to do, it feels like this is your person. It feels like this is a good. You two are definitely supposed to be in one another's lives. But it feels like for the next, I would say maybe 4 to 6 months, this is going to be a conversation that has had a lot. And then it feels like it kind of slows down. And not just about marriage, but just about life and future in general. It feels like for the next 4 to 6 months, this is going to be a very talked about topic. And he may pull back a bit, but give him that space and then kind of reel him back in. Say, nope, okay, you had your time. We're going to have this conversation again. And just try to have that open flow of communication. But with free will, that gets a little tricky when we're talking about relationships. But it absolutely feels like he will come around, but it doesn't feel like he's going to necessarily share in that
Excitement.
excitement that you think about when you think about a wedding. But again, your guides are really clear that that's not a reflection of a lack of love.
He's just grown up around a lot of divorce, so he thinks all marriages are destined to doom.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely not a reflection of you. It's that Beautiful Uncaging, that heart card. That's one that, I think having these conversations, he can kind of let down those walls. He can kind of let down those, we're doomed sort of mindset, and see it for what it really is. That piece of paper isn't going to change your relationship. But I think it's going to happen for you. It just give it some time, but definitely don't think you're done.
Okay.
So does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So for the next 4 to 6 months, just keep that line of communication real open. Be patient with him, but remind him to be patient with you as well. That open
Yeah.
communication is going to be key.
Okay.
Good. So hopefully that's helpful. But give yourself time, whatever you need to do, just follow your heart. That's going to take you exactly where you need to go and tell you how to handle things. Okay. Sorry, somebody was like, hello. Okay, so do you have any other questions about that or anything psychic before we kind of move into connecting with a loved one?
Do you think I'd be a good death doula?
Oh, okay. 100%. Like, as soon as you said that, I just got like these chills from head to toe, and that's always like my sign for like, oh yeah, that resonates. 100%.
Okay.
This wouldn't be your first time sort of doing something like that though. As far as like maybe past lives, I don't necessarily know about this life, but it feels as though this is in alignment with what your soul does. Maybe not always in the same exact way, but in certain ways. Okay, that's a good card. Okay. Okay. So let me talk about this for a second. So Earth Magic, this is a beautiful card. This is the one that says, the universe is working with you. Earth Magic is definitely about kind of tapping into that inner source within yourself, and kind of the magic unfolds. But then again, you got the Royal You card for the second time. So
Oh,
it's again stepping into your own power. But yeah, I think you'd be amazing at doing
okay.
that. Yeah, very much so. Okay. Yeah. So any other questions?
Nope.
No, you sure?
I think that's it.
Okay. You'll have to let me know how you choose to kind of move forward with that, but
Okay.
that sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I didn't
Good.
know it was an option. I was just kind of looking through things and talking to one of my girlfriends. She's like, "Oh my God, you'd be an amazing death doula." And I'm like, "Whoa, I didn't even know that was a thing." But
Yeah.
it like kind of goes with everything that I like to do all into one. And it's just like, yeah, I'm totally gonna look
That
into that.
yeah, definitely do it because it does. Like I said, it may not always be in the same exact way, but it feels like this is definitely in alignment with what your soul does in just about every lifetime. Not everyone, but just about everyone in some way. You are definitely kind of filling that role.
Okay.
That's cool. I'm excited for you. Um, okay, so loved ones. Do you have somebody in particular that you would like to come through?
I don't know. There's a lot of them. I don't, my grandma. Oh, my aunt Shirley just passed away. They were sisters.
Aw.
Have my
Okay,
boyfriend passed long, long time ago.
okay. So just are you open to whoever it is that pops
Yeah.
in? Okay. All right. I feel like I have grandma and your aunt because as soon as I was like, okay, I'm ready, I felt these two older women step forward. Were they always bickering with one another?
Yes.
I'm doing. I'm like, oh, these are definitely sisters. Um, they just come in with like that bickering energy. Now, they have very similar energies too, so it's kind of hard to tell which one is saying what because they're coming in together. Um, do one of them have a connection to the month of January?
I'm born in January.
They keep saying January, January. I'm like, which one are you telling me January? I don't know what they're trying to validate, but they're definitely giving January. It could be just that they're watching over you. They could be trying to validate you. Um, sorry if you could hear my dogs. um, okay. Your aunt, so I kind of lose my breath when she comes in. So I feel like there were issues with the breathing, but also she's just like this ball of energy. She comes in very feisty, not mean in any way, just like she shows up, big personality. But is she's she's kind of taking my breath away at the same time she's taking in really deep cleansing breaths. So I definitely feel like there was something kind of going on with the lungs, or her breathing was just becoming more difficult. But she's taking in these deep breaths as a way of saying, like, I'm good, like, I'm fine, I can do this, I feel amazing. A lot of family members that are there to greet her when she passes. Her husband's also on the other side, isn't he?
Hmm.
Because I just feel him standing there, and I can feel like her heart just explode. So when she passed, he was just that main person who really steps forward for her, and I can feel that instant connection. Um, she's very cute. Like, she just feels like she was real particular about her hair. I keep seeing her with like a almost like a clip or of some sort kind of going into the side here. I don't know how old she was when she passed, but the way that she kind of presents herself is very, very young. Um, so I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of her when she was younger, but if she always kind of wore like a clip or something up in the side of her hair. But it's really interesting because it's like this curly do, but that's the one thing that's really sticking out to me. Okay. And she just keeps saying, she goes, and I'm okay. And she says it like just so excited, like she's okay. She makes me feel like she was ready when she passed. She makes me feel like she had been ill for quite a long time. Does she have sons?
Yeah,
She only have sons, or they're more sons than daughters?
just two sons.
Just two sons. Okay. Because she just kept saying, my boys, my boys. So definitely just validating her sons and her love for them. Um, there's also some sort of May connection that she keeps saying. She just keeps saying in May, in May. And with you, she's calling you dear. um, she has a lot of love for you. She keeps telling me that you're very sweet. She says you're very sweet. She doesn't make me feel like you were her main caretaker, but she does make me feel like you visited often or you called often. Like she makes me feel like there was this checking up sort of feeling,
She
and
didn't
she just
live near me, so especially when she got sick, it was like during COVID, so it was.
that's okay. She knows every time you would call or every time you would think about her, she doesn't have that filter anymore, that human filter. So she's very aware. So even now, when you're thinking about her, when you're talking about her, she can hear you. Um, did she have a bit of like a northern accent, or was she from up north?
Mm-mm.
Interesting, because the way that she talks, it doesn't sound like a Michigan sort of accent, but there's like this, I don't know, something about the way she talks. It sounds like there's a little bit of a northern.
She got like a twang, but I don't know where she got that.
Oh,
It's
that's
she just
strange.
has like a different twang, I guess.
Okay. She makes me feel like she's also very, very crafty. She makes me feel like there's a lot of things that she made that are still within the family that people have. I'm not sure what it is that she's making. I don't know if she's not even telling me if these are like paintings or sewings or things like that. But she just shows me things that she made, things that she put her heart into, that the family still has this. Do one of your kids' names start with H?
Mm-mm.
Oh, my dog. I'm so sorry. Do you know if she's connected to a young girl with a H initial? I almost wanted to say something like Haley, but I don't know that Haley's the right name.
Mm, H. I can't think of one.
Okay, hold on to that. It could be something that makes sense, later tonight, or like, a family member might be able to validate. But she's definitely talking about watching over a younger girl, and I just keep getting this H initial. Okay. Is this aunt on your mom's side of the family?
Hmm.
She keeps showing me jewelry, and she
My
makes me
mom,
feel like,
so much of her jewelry.
okay, there's a necklace that she wants you to have. Um, I just keep seeing like a very simple pendant, and it's almost like a blue or like a gray color. Um, but it's nothing big. It just feels like it's really small, very petite, but she keeps placing this in your hand. So I feel like this is probably something your mom has. Um, so maybe ask your mom if that makes sense, but your aunt is putting that in your hand as this is something she wants you to have.
That'll go over well. Hey, Mom, you know that necklace? Well, I think Aunt Shirley would want me to have it, so.
Okay. She's really like she is. She's very, very sweet, but I think feisty is the best way for me to explain her. Um, okay. And she's all about the holidays. She's not missing out on the holidays. She will be there. She will be celebrating with you guys. Um, do your mom and dad have a cat?
No.
Do you remember at some point an orange cat?
Hmm. We used to
I
have
don't know.
one.
You used to have one?
My parents did, yeah, when I lived here.
Oh, okay, okay. Because she keeps talking about the orange cat, the orange cat. So if that cat has passed away, it could be with her on the other side, or she's just kind of validating the orange cat, but she was definitely placing the orange cat with your mom and dad, which I think that's neat. Okay. It's interesting. So she keeps putting her hand up like this. And when I'm asking her like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And she's just kind of doing this, and she's talking to me about looking at the hands in the family. So I don't know if your mom or you have the same hands as your aunt, but that's kind of what it feels like she's talking about. It's like a mirror image of her hands. Which it feels like this is a really sweet way to kind of just remember her, which seems very simple to just kind of look at your hands, or your mom to look at her hands, and it's a great way to remember her. But that's interesting that she's showing me that, and she just comes through as she was ready and she was okay, and she doesn't want the family to worry about her. And like I said, her heart literally felt like it exploded when she started to talk about her husband showing up for her. So she is more than okay with where she is. She is so happy to be reconnected with him. Um, did he serve in the military?
I think so.
Okay. Because they both appear young, like young, like probably late 20s. Um, and he definitely kind of, I can't see him as clearly as I can see her, but I feel like he's in some sort of military uniform. But she's just coming through, wanting the family to know that she's okay, wanting you guys to know that she's around. I do keep smelling, I keep smelling like food. So if you just randomly start to smell food and there's like no reason, like no one is cooking in the house, but all of a sudden it smells like someone's baking or they're cooking, it's because your aunt is around. She's going to be using this as just one of her ways of communicating. But pay attention to anything else that just makes you think of her. Instantly your mind goes to her. She does make me feel like she's still getting the hang of it over there, but she's already really chatty for someone who is newer to the other side. So she's just going to get stronger the more and more that she kind of figures it out. So I don't think you'll ever have any trouble feeling her, knowing that she's there, but absolutely love her personality. Like she's
She's bold.
just awesome. She's really cool. But she sends so much love and just makes me feel like that's all she wants the family to know is she was ready and that she's okay. Oh, does that make sense?
Yes. Is
Good.
her sister still there?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, there's still a lot of family around.
So I was wondering, I had a ring that my grandmother gave me. It was her sister, and I've lost it like 10 years ago. Does anybody
Oh.
know where it is?
She doesn't make me feel like you're gonna find it. She keeps showing me like a you know, like if you look down in between the seats, but I can't tell if it's like a couch seat or the seat in the car, but like she's showing me, like I feel like I'm looking down in seats of some sort. But she doesn't necessarily make me feel like you were wearing it when you lost it. Does that make sense?
Probably.
She doesn't make me feel like you're going to find it, but she also doesn't make me feel like she's upset about that either. Um, and that's one of my favorite things about spirit is, you know, things like that happen. We lose material items. Um, but yeah, she just keeps showing me something like in a seat or in between a seat, but does not make me feel like you're necessarily going to find that. But it doesn't mean you don't have that connection with her still.
Okay.
Yeah, she's your grandma. Her personality feels very similar to your sister or to her sisters. Um, she doesn't feel quite as feisty as her sister. Um, she feels a little softer. She comes in real loving, very sweet. But the two of them together, now that's a fun energy.
Hmm.
So yeah, yeah, they're both, you know, they're together, they're okay, they're around you. Um, but your aunt definitely came in and was ready to talk.
Okay.
Um,
Do you see my boyfriend there?
I do, so not that he's not here, but the loved ones that I can see standing around me are all older generation.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's yeah, they're I don't want to say they're all old, but that's the feeling that I'm getting with all of them is all older generation. Your boyfriend, we know our loved ones are always with us, but they kind of pick and choose sometimes when they want to step forward. I don't feel him stepping forward, but yeah, no, I don't feel him stepping forward, but there are a lot of loved ones here. So he's around, he's somewhere, and hopefully he'll come through either to you in your own time, or if you get a reading, you know, again. But I can
Okay.
get there somewhere.
I have a question. I used
Yeah,
to be able to feel like when spirits were around all the time. And then it kind of just left and it's starting to happen a little bit more, but like how do I get that? I mean, because I used to be afraid of it. So I always used to say like, please stop, please stop. And now I'm like ready, kind of. I'm still afraid. But I
yeah.
like it and now I want it back. So
So just start acknowledging them, start releasing the fear. Remind yourself spirit is not like Hollywood, right? Like it does not look like what Hollywood makes it to look like. Darkness does not mean it's bad. It's just the way we perceive spirit. And so when you start to feel it, the very best thing you can do is just acknowledge it and then take a minute to just sit. You might get something and you might not, but even if you can just for 30 seconds say, okay, I can feel you here, and you just give them the chance and you give yourself the chance to make that connection, the more that you'll do that, slowly but surely, you'll start to feel those pieces come in and that communication start to flow in.
okay.
But
Cool.
acknowledging and quieting the mind, the two most important things to do.
But they do still come. I'm just not feeling it as much, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I always say like we are always surrounded by at least five spirits at all times,
Oh
whether
wow.
that's loved ones, guides, angels, a combination of a whole bunch of different people. But I think all of us at all times have at least five people around us. So you're never alone. But
Okay.
yeah, let go of the fear, quiet the mind, acknowledge them when you feel them, and then just give it time to build.
Okay.
Okay.
Yay.
All right, well, good. Hopefully this is helpful, and you got whatever it was that you were needing, maybe a little bit of what you wanted to. But your guides came in, they did a good job. Your aunt was ready to go. She's very chatty, and your grandmother's just sweet energy. So hopefully you got what you needed. And what I'll do is I'll just send you this recording, like I said, probably sometime tomorrow.
Perfect.
Okay?
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're super welcome. I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.